Filipino Tzu Chi volunteers visit affected residents on Mindanao Island to plan for aid distributions. Indonesia Tzu Chi Chapter hosts the inauguration ceremony of the new Jing Si Hall in Bandung. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Maggie Tsai. Thank you for joining us. Filipino Tzu Chi volunteers continue to assess damage on Mindanao Island. They went to the epicenter of the earthquake, Tulunan Town. They also visited affected residents' households in the mountain, where volunteers assess their needs and plan to launch an aid distribution as soon as possible. The school building has collapsed and the roof fell. At another kindergarten campus, the wall also fell. This is the epicenter, Tulunan Town, which takes 2 hours to get here from the mountain. After the earthquake, other than the government's aid supplies, Tzu Chi was the first charity organization to visit the disaster area. Affected residents can't wait to tell Tzu Chi volunteers about their situation. Volunteers assess the damage in the community and discover that almost all houses were partially damaged, as well as the church.
Itong earthquake?
No. Last October 31.
31号的地震倒的。
Tzu Chi volunteers assess the damage and record the affected residents' needs in hopes of providing timely help.
最大的重灾区是在山上。
The most damaged place is the mountain, so we will first deliver daily needs to them like food and clothes. Later on, we'll help them rebuild the schools and church.
那些学校啊，还有他们的教堂啊。
Tzu Chi volunteers also visited the governor to understand the government's disaster relief progress, as well as proposing future assistance.
We are very happy for all the help coming in from the national agencies, from the international organization like the Chichu Foundation. Water is coming, food pack is coming, blanket is coming, but this calamity is something that we cannot foresee when to stop. So we have to sustain and manage very well our resources.
Due to the large amount of affected residents, the government now moved them to a temporary tent area down the mountain. They've received aid supplies from many organizations, but their biggest wish is to be able to return home soon. After the strong earthquake on Mindanao Island in Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived in Makilala to hold distribution for affected residents. Since the earthquake happened in a mountainous area, it resulted in a massive landslide. The local government evacuated all the residents out of the area, providing them shelter with tents at local school's athletic field. Tzu Chi volunteers also provided rice, blankets, sleeping mats, and drinking water for 283 affected families.
Now I'm standing at Battle in Makilala. The hill right behind me suffered a massive landslide caused by the earthquake.
From the air, we can see that the situation caused by the earthquake is quite serious. The vegetation that originally covered the hillside was completely displaced. For safety reasons, all local residents were forced to evacuate to shelters by the local government. The local government arranged temporary shelters for the affected residents in Bulacanon National High School, which is now full of tents. Through the help of the Military and Social Welfare Development Department, Tzu Chi volunteers acquired a list of affected residents and also ready to hold a distribution for them. Tzu Chi volunteers prepared eco-friendly blankets, sleeping mats, rice, and drinking water for the affected residents, since those are the daily necessities for their current needs. The distribution was held on the last day on the All Saints' Day holiday in the Philippines. Many volunteers attended the event, with many of them experiencing the happiness as a volunteer for the first time.
I have a good living standard, and when I see their living condition, I felt like I should be more grateful for what I have. I feel happy when I see their smiles.
Since the affected areas are widely spread across the mountain, the list of affected residents became hard to track. Tzu Chi volunteers will continue to provide emergency aid for the next few days and will keep updating the situation, assisting the follow-up plans of the local government.
After the violent earthquake in the Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteers at Davao went to the affected area to dispatch emergency supplies. 2 days later, they went there again to distribute 325 Jing Si multifunctional folding beds, which were transferred from Manila urgently so that the elderly and children can have a good sleep.
Only after 2 days, Tzu Chi volunteers went to the distribution site at Masese again to distribute Jing Si multifunctional folding beds, which are the most needed materials for the affected residents. The truck carrying Jing Si folding beds that were transported from Makilala arrived at the tent area. Volunteers and people of the public gathered to help unload the goods. Volunteers also demonstrated the use of the multifunctional folding bed to the residents.
They are very happy seeing the Jing Si folding beds. Then we showed them how to assemble and use the beds. This is the first batch. We will have the second and third batch.
As shown from the facial expression of the resident who tried the bed, everyone could know how much they were eager to get this gift. Lancetino, who is 59 years old, has a family of 7 of 3 generations living together. With this bed, he and his wife can eventually sleep more comfortably than the previous days. According to the disaster list provided by the Ministry of Social Welfare, volunteers distributed a Jing Si folding bed to each household. The reporter visited the tent area and found that there were 4 Jing Si beds in this small tent, in which 10 people from 4 families were staying. The blanket distributed by Tzu Chi 2 days ago can be used to keep warm at night and protect from sunshine during the day. Jerry, who is 25 years old, is a new resident in this tent area. Originally, he has found some materials to make his own bed. This day, he received a folding bed from Tzu Chi. Thus, these materials can be used for other purposes.
These things were to be used to make a bed to sleep. But then he received this folding bed, so he does not need these materials anymore. He can have a good sleep at night.
A total of 325 Jing Si multifunctional folding beds were distributed in the first batch. Later, when the volunteers have better ideas of the actual damage of the disaster area, they will continue to distribute more to the affected residents.
Today's News Show scholarship recipient is Miss Wei, who is living in Nantou, Taiwan. Her father had a stroke 3 years ago and paralyzed his right body. Her mother has to shoulder the responsibility of the family. Despite working 2 part-time jobs to earn her tuition fee, she returns home to help with the farm work when she's free.
Soon after the typhoon has left, the sun is shining brightly. The soil is soft and muddy, while the weather is hot and stuffy. During school holiday, Miss Wei came home in Puli Town from Jiayi. The first thing to do is to help her mother harvest cucumbers and eggplants. Farm work is tough and labor-intensive. Wei's younger brother is also working with sweat. The livelihood of this family depends on this piece of farmland.
We might work very hard, but the result may not be what we have been expecting. Sometimes we still feel grateful to God for giving us food to eat.
Instead of complaining about their harsh lives, they have chosen to cherish what they have.
When she comes home during holiday, I never have to cook, because she will cook. She will cook whatever the youngest brother wants to eat.
Wei cares her mother very much for her dedication to the family.
Every time when the school starts, I will take out 3 registration slips altogether. Mom would then look very worried.
With a view to reduce her mother's burden, Wei works in a restaurant at the daytime, while being a tutor in the evening to earn her tuition fee.
Her father suffered from a stroke before. She and her brother tried to sell her dad's cabbage on the internet.
Be careful because the knife is very sharp. Just cut it down.
When it was about to harvest, her father suffered from a stroke, and her mother was busy taking care of him. The three children released the news of self-harvesting on the internet. Touched by their filial actions, many people came to support. Having received a lot of help before, Wei also wanted it to be a capable person to help others.
I want to go to a school in remote area, maybe to hold a camp for the kids there, or to teach them with their homework. I also want to pass on this warmth to help others, just like the teacher who helped me before.
Although she is already very busy, she doesn't give up the chance of serving in remote areas. She wants to be a teacher to help those children who are with the same situation as her to find hope in life.
Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers in Bandung finally got their Jing Si Hall after 15 years of dedication in local communities. The inauguration ceremony was hosted on November 3rd, and local officials also came to join the event. The Bandung Jing Si Hall is 5 floors high and about 3,100 square meters. Before dawn, over 200 Tzu Chi volunteers walk forward step by step to open the door. Everyone chanted the sutra sincerely, and the Jing Si Hall is officially launched.
The Jing Si Hall is like what Dharma Master Zheng Yan taught us. It's a big family. It's also where we'll recruit more compassion and purify hearts.
The Jing Si Hall will be a ground for volunteers to gather. In addition to helping the impoverished, we'll also invite more people to join because now we have a home for our soul.
Bandung Tzu Chi volunteers have been serving the community for over 15 years. Over 1,000 people came to witness the inauguration, including local governors and community residents.
The
Bandung Jing Si Hall launch represents Tzu Chi's ability to get into deeper touch with local residents' lives and also conduct disaster relief faster.
Setelah 1 tahun saya menjadi wali kota.
Have been a city mayor for a year and have made a good connection with Tzu Chi volunteers. I'm grateful for the good cause.
Local volunteers and Tzu Chis work together to set up the venue and rehearse the performance before the opening. They will share the same goal to complete the mission.
Of course, there are always difficulties along the way, but as long as we all work together, we can solve anything, no matter how challenging it is.
In the future, the Jing Si Hall will also plan to host community classes on top of being a place for many volunteer activities. Tzu Chi strives for protecting the Mother Earth and people's health. In Suzhou, China, humanitarian ecotech pavilion and 2 medical clinics held their opening ceremonies on the same day. Let's take a look.
The humanitarian ecotech pavilion opened to the public. Many people joined the grand ceremony.
The humanitarian ecotech pavilion is like seed in ecology and also a new platform for green energy development. Through the use of modern technology, we can protect our environment just like how we protect ourselves.
Through collecting these plastic bottles around the city, we could transform them into sustainable goods. This is the purpose of establishing this pavilion. We want to let more people know about the concept of the sustainability.
In the past decade, we have been in a community doing recycling, and this place can help us connect what we're doing in a community to a bigger picture. It helps to teach people that what we do makes an impact and how we can learn to spread our love to more places.
On this day, the tumor clinic and sleep disorder clinic also opened at the Tzu Chi Suzhou Medical Center.
We established the Sleep Disorder Center. Not only want people to sleep earlier, but also sleep well, having a good quality of sleep, so that they have energy for the upcoming challenges for tomorrow.
This is a good start. We aim at protecting two health. One is the health of the planet, the other is the health of the people.
With a triple auspicious event, Tzu Chi volunteers can continue to safeguard the health of all sentient beings with love.
In 2005, Japan implemented the Basic Agri and Food Education to incorporate food education into the curriculum of schools. This was intended to teach more Japanese people how to eat well, such as the benefits of having a good breakfast. It also encouraged people to cook at home. Also, it seeks to inspire Japanese can regain their enthusiasm for rice, helping them better appreciate their culture and traditional food.
插2排，哦，你就是插2排啊，记得插要插十字的地方，啊，你脚要踩在那个每一个方格的中间，然后插进去，插进不必插太深，你插进去，它跟着插进去。
等会讲话要认真一点。辛苦吧！
It's hard work. Do I want to be a farmer? No, no way. So I eat all my rice every day because I know the hard work of farmers.
Through this experience, parents and children living in the city can learn more about the land and food cultivation. At present, most of the activities related to food and agricultural education in Taiwan are done by private units. This means that they are not unified into one integrated system.
本来实动教育应该来讲，它是一个
Originally, food education should be a long-term investment or long-term planning. For example, every educated person or student should be involved in the long-term participation, and these effects will come out. However, in Taiwan, because it is eager to be good, so many of our activities actually are only focused on diet or an agricultural experience. It can be like shooting off fireworks, and there's no long-term benefit.
Food and agriculture are closely related. Compared with Taiwan's efforts in this type of education, other countries such as Japan take a more far-reaching approach. For example, they believe that health and nutrition is not just a personal issue, but something for the whole nation to consider. For this reason, the laws and policies are integrated in a way to comprehensively improve people's health. Spring weather is chilly, and on this day in Hokkaido in May, the temperatures dropped to only 15 degrees Celsius. A group of middle school students from Sapporo walked barefoot in this rice paddy to work with this old farmer.
This type of exchange is beneficial to the development of our town.
Barefoot in this cold paddy field with heavy rain falling on them does nothing to diminish their interest in this rural experience. Some 1,800 students every year participate, learning from this elderly farmer.
We are also happy to accept students because our town is getting fewer people as many are old and there are fewer young people. There are very few opportunities to interact with young people. If there are young people in the neighborhood, of course it is for the best. Therefore, such activities exposing students to this is just like meeting grandchildren. I am very happy to work with them as a farmer.
This is an example of the agricultural education that is promoted by the Japanese government in various areas. Through personal experience, we understand the source of food and learn to be grateful to the producers and the environment. Fukagawa City is the main agricultural area of Hokkaido. There are many senior farmers in the area who have joined the ranks of food and agriculture education. Mr. Takahashi, who has been farming for more than 40 years, will also let students live in his home.
Children in the city don't know how to grow vegetables. They may think they are planted behind a convenience store. We want to tell them that a farmer spends a lot of time growing vegetables, and this is what supports you. This is the purpose of this education.
The wall's full of photos taken by students every year. There are many high school students coming from Taiwan. When we arrived, it was not the time for student exchange, which will typically take place 2 months later when the farm training program starts. In 2005, Japan established the Basic Act on Food Education. It was the first country in the world to include food and agriculture education in the national curriculum. In the 14 years when this act was promoted in Japan, the central and local governments have to formulate relevant plans, which are adjusted every 5 years. In addition to the national curriculum, there are food education courses, nutritionists, professional farmers, and Japanese NGOs involved. There are food education guides which promote food education courses in various communities.
健康上の理由といえば、いわば生活習慣病です。
Health is being impacted by lifestyle habits, leading to obesity, high blood pressure, excessive intake of fat. These factors now have accounted for the top cause of death.
私たちの死因の上位を占めるようになりました。
Japanese people's dietary problems have led to NGO-initiated food education guides, which came out before Japan's Basic Act on Food Education. Ms. Ishikawa is an expert nutrition guide. She was a hotel employee who originally wanted to cook with her daughter in her 20s, but now she is an indispensable part of food education teacher in various communities. At present, there are about 10,000 nutritionists in Japan, of which 10% are expert nutritionists. These individuals need to take courses and exams by the association before they can be considered expert. During these courses, the class and the examinations have to be paid on their own, and they have to be certified each year. The system was started by a private NGO which helped teach food education. From farm to table, from children to the public, and Basic Act on Food Education has helped mobilize the whole country together to improve their collective health. There are many non-governmental academic units in Taiwan that are actively concentrating on including food education in the curriculum. However, it is a slow process, though there are some private actions that are encouraging more people to engage with nature, learning more about ways to better understand where our food comes from.
When people are tired, they often cannot resist the temptation of snacks containing sugar, fat, or salt. A study in the United States has shown that eating fresh fruits or vegetables instead of snacks can help reduce the feelings of fatigue caused by insufficient sleep.
When people are tired, they often eat these snacks to get more energy.
I eat them to get more calories, and it makes me feel more energetic.
Eating too many snacks with too much sugar, oil, or salt can cause obesity and also insomnia.
If we eat these foods before going to bed, we need time to digest them. Then we won't be able to sleep well at night. If we eat them for a long time, we'll start to gain weight. We'll also have symptoms like sleep apnea, which will affect our sleep.
If we eat too many snacks instead of our regular meals, it will cause an imbalance in our eating. Our secretions of hormones or our nervous system will not function properly. Then we will feel tired.
Eating too much snacks can cause fatigue, but when people feel tired, they want to eat food with high calories, which will cause poor sleep quality. It thus becomes a bad cycle.
For example, guava, kiwi, cherry tomatoes, and nuts contain antioxidant vitamins, which can help us reduce fatigue.
The nutritionist suggests that when we feel tired, we should eat fruits or vegetables instead of these snacks to stay healthy.
Tzu Chi Thailand chapter and a few charity groups donated new ambulances to a local medical center in hopes to benefit more patients in need. Take a look and see you next time.